I am Spellweaver, and it's been 2 months or so since the last video on Alchemist, a roguelike RPG I've been working on. I added a lot of various cool stuff to the game since then, and I'm excited to share it. There is now a new interface with icons and keys listed. More importantly, the whole inventory system was developed, complete with item interactions, refinement and crafting. You've no doubt noticed those tables and a giant cauldron that will serve as main crafting stations in the game. Can't show any of that when my inventory is empty though, so let's go gather some stuff. Crafting meant the possibility to add a lot of new things that mostly serve as material sources, such as those fireflies. My first attempt at pixel art, by the way. Those ancient stumps with ember, coniferous trees where you can gather sap. The area itself is obviously new as well. Now that we've gathered some items here, let's go visit the dungeon. There are changes here too, not limited to new entrants. Now there is moss on the walls, cobwebs and tunnels, and a chance to spawn a wine cellar full of barrels instead of a regular room. All of that can be looted as well, of course, and barrels can be broken to gather wood afterwards. Broken doors and piles of stone are also lootable. Now that our inventory is filled with items, we can look at it in more detail. A lot of coffee went into making this, and I'm still unsure if it's good enough, so this is the part that I'm especially interested in hearing feedback on. I'd like to note that there is no inventory limit, and there will never be one. In my experience, having a limited inventory size only leads to boring busy work organizing items in containers and diminishes the value of loot, which is the exact opposite of what I want. Speaking of loot, items we've been gathering are all over the place. And you might be wondering, what would an alchemist want with a piece of broken wood or bent nails? The answer is this crafting station, where you refine items into alchemical components. There are 3 ways to refine items: sorting items without any processing, grinding them with mortar and pestle, and distilling with alembic. Either of them turns an item into a certain abstract component. For example, broken wood can be turned into a generic something to burn object that will be used as fuel. Different modes produce different results. For example, quartz can be used as something crystalline if left untouched, or something ephemeral if you grind it. Moss can either be squished into something verdant, or something umbral can be distilled out of it. Hopefully that makes sense, because I am trying to make components thematically linked to the raw material. If you notice the pattern in naming, yes, it's there. Something toxic, something volatile, something scintillating, something sinister. Blame sunless skies and there are map markers for that. I would also like to say that since I might very well run out of names that fit the pattern, I'm accepting suggestions for components names. The more arcane they sound, the better. But let's return to crafting. As you see, all of the stuff that we found in our short journey can be refined into components. The next step is using those components to brew some potions in this giant cauldron. All of those potions are functional, by the way, and more will be added later. For now, I'll make a couple of each to show you their effects. Remember fireballs? Well, they are an actual potion now that you equip and throw, with battle flying and everything. There are different projectiles for different potions, by the way. Shockwave potion is something to destroy walls and stun enemies, though there are no enemies in game for now. I imagine it as a spark causing a clap of thunder that is strong enough to shatter storm. Took me a while to make this animation look good in game, and thanks to original sprites creator from Open Game Art, by the way. Rift potion is a source of short-range teleport, teleporting you instantly to the place where the potion is thrown, unless there is already something. It will probably be widely used in game to cross gaps and escape danger. I kind of like how those animations turned out, especially with both battles and special effects giving off colored light. Clairvoyance potion is different from the others in that you drink it yourself instead of throwing. It uncovers them up for you. Potions, components and recipes are very much subject to change, and a lot more of each will be added as new game systems demand it. I intend for alchemy to be the gameplay core, since that's the theme of the game. There is still another crafting station to cover, Enchanter's workbench. Speaking of which, both of those tables I had to basically draw myself, because apparently the only place outside of my game where alchemist tables exist is Skyrim. Fun fact, Enchanter's workbench tile is based on a photo of some 19th century English table. This workbench is a place where I craft items that aren't potions. For now, only recipes for torch and lantern are here. Let's make both of those. Those items are tools that can be wielded and give off light. The only difference now is aesthetical, but I think of giving light some utility, like uncovering secrets only if you have a source of light with you. Hopefully that was interesting. Thanks to all the wonderful people who gave me their feedback. I've implemented some of the things that you suggested, like adjusting the sight distance, and definitely took all that was suggested into consideration. And of course, I'll be happy to see more of it. I am starting to work on game time and turns, which means there will soon be enemies in game as well as many more opportunities for me to create some cool effects. See you in the next episode.